Family. How many people here have family? Raise your hands. How many people don't want to admit they have family? Raise your hand. Right? We all have interesting parts of our family, people in our family. Right? Anybody ever watched that movie, How to Train Your Dragon? Ever familiar with that? Come on, your grandparents, you guys got to be familiar with that, right? It's an animated from DreamWorks, right? Boy, I wish that movie was out years ago. That would have been a guide, a planned book for me to deal with my mother. My mom was 4'10", maybe 90 pounds, okay? If you got on her bad side, this 4'10", 90-pound woman turned into this 40-foot fire-breathing dragon. And the last thing you wanted coming out of her mouth was your name. Well, Keith, you didn't do this. You know, you should have got that done. Why did you do that? And why are you not behaving? I was terrified. I mean, I was terrified of my mother. How many people have been terrified of people in their family? Raise your hand. Right? We've all been there. Might be a brother, might be a sister. My brother was another one I was pretty terrified of, to be honest with you. My brother was bigger, taller than me probably by a couple inches, outweighed me, you know, but he was one of those people that could knock you off balance, right? You get up and all of a sudden he'd push you and you were down. You could never get your balance with him. And this is a guy that if you were ever going to be in a fight, you wanted that guy on your side. Because if he got hit, his eyes would turn red, literally red. He would see red. And you better break his legs or it's never going to end. That was my brother. So my brother was that guy. My mom was that girl, you know. And then we have the other members of the family. I have my crazy sister, Carrie. We called her Crazy Carrie. Good heart, great heart of gold. And just was one of those people that you love to pick at, right? Pick, because she'd just make you laugh because she'd get so riled up and so... How many people have had that with family? Are there those that you can pick at and have fun with, but there's those that not so much, right? So family's always very interesting. But I'm a firm believer that family's not biological. I learned that a long time ago. I believe that, you know, I'm fortunate enough that where I grew up, where I had friends from elementary, junior high, high school, Parks and Rec that are my family. Still to this day, very good friends, very close. I know I pick up the phone, I need to call them 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, it doesn't matter, that's family, right? So I really said, my mom wasn't capable of being a good mom, be that loving, that supportive person, wasn't capable. My dad was a very weak man. He left when I was 9. Didn't see him till I was in my 20s. So family, you want to surround yourself. See, the great thing about getting older, that's what's great about getting to this age. We get to choose who we surround ourselves with. We get to choose the people we have in our lives. And the one word that can be one of the most loving, supportive, wonderful words, but it can also be the most damaging, the most hurtful and horrible words is family. Depending on the family that you came up in, right? But the great news is, you know, when I speak to parenting groups, the last thing I say to parents, you know, because the first 5 years of a child's life are key. Subconscious mind's wide open. They're taking in information left and right, left and right. They're very literal. It's very literal. So the first 5 years, I tell them, the first 5 years are the most important years you'll spend with your kids. It's important to spend good, wonderful, quality time with your kids. After that, surround them with good, wonderful, healthy people. Put them in positive situations so that when they choose their mentor, which won't be the parents, they're going to have a good pool to choose from. I was grateful that my kids had really good mentors. One was a coach, one was middle school theater teacher that they really bonded with and were a good influence on their life. Now, as grandparents, you can become that support system. You can become that pillow, that soft place for them to land. Because the good news is you get to give them back. That's the good news, right? But you can do that. But just be careful not to try and make up for what you didn't do with your kids. Because it's like I always said to my daughter, I used to say to my daughter all the time, I said, you know what, we get to spend time with our kids predicated on how we fit into their schedule, on when we fit into their schedule. How many people struggle with that? Anybody in here struggle with that? It's just the way it is, right? We raise them to be independent, right? To be on their own, to give back to humanity, become the best version of them that they can possibly be. Would you agree with that? Our job as parents is to teach our kids to be accountable, responsible, respectful, resilient, adaptable in a world that's not fair. Not everybody wins, not everybody gets a trophy. There, I said it.
Yay.
Not everybody wins, not everybody gets a trophy. And it's a world that's constantly changing. If we can learn to adapt to that change, life becomes easier, even for all of us now. Because I think that's the biggest struggle a lot of us have in retirement, is adapting to that change. How many people have struggled with retirement? Raise your hand. I did. That's why I'm not retired. Yeah. But I did. We came here and our plan was both of us were going to retire. A month later, I'm going, oh, no, this isn't working for me. I can only play so much pickleball, golf, whatever it is. Like, no, it's not going to work for me. So I still am practicing. You know, I'm writing for LKN Magazine. Those of you who don't know that, I'm doing an advice column for LKN Magazine every month. And then, and now I'm getting back into speaking. But the great thing is my daughter's working with me. My daughter's doing my marketing and stuff. So it's kind of a win-win situation because she and I had a talk. She had a baby, first baby, our grandbaby, first grandbaby, River. Just started walking, right, the other day. But first grandbaby. And so I looked at my daughter and I said, you know, now her husband fortunately is a plumber and he's doing very well. So they talked about her being a stay-at-home mom, which is happening right now. However, she and I would get into these discussions, and she's real good about, you know, calling Vic and I probably 2-3 times a week. She's been really good with the baby and for long periods of time. But we got into the discussion of, I said, Kate, I go, how are you dealing with stay-at-home mom? And the tears just started coming. She goes, don't get me wrong. I love River. I love being a mom. I go, but it's not who you are. And she goes, yeah. I said, you don't have purpose. Now, don't get me wrong. Being a parent, there's purpose there. But that's taking care of, you know, the baby and doing everything else. What are you doing to feed your soul? Okay? And that's the biggest thing, where family becomes an obstacle a lot of times, because they become that obstacle to you fulfilling your purpose. How many have had that happen? Right? Oh, I'm a mom. I got to do this. Oh, I'm a wife. I got to do this. Oh, I'm a husband. I got to do this. But where does that fall within yourself? Right? Take a second, think of the top 5 things that are most important in your life. I'm going to give you just a second here, and then I'm going to ask some people. So go ahead.
5 things, do you mean experiences?
5 things, experiences, or 5 most important things. Be your children, be at work, be it, you know, whatever. Just think about that, and then I'm going to ask for a couple volunteers. Okay, any volunteers?
Faith, family, health, community.
Okay. Anybody else? Come on, come on.
Travel, stimulation.
Okay. 2 lists there.
Say relationships with my children.
Relationship with this woman right here.
Okay. There you go.
nice, very nice.
I love when people get points for sucking up. That's awesome, isn't it? Nice. Very nice. Friends.
I'll jump in too, husband.
Husband.
Intellectual stimulation.
Yep.
It's filling your own bucket up.
There you go. Number one. There you go. Right? She said, fill in your own bucket, taking care of you first and foremost. Even honoring God, He wants you to take care of yourself first, right? So if you don't take care of yourself, you can't possibly take care of all the other things in your life you want to take care of. I was speaking in a group of 300 women, right? And we were talking about this same thing. And I told them, give me a list of all the things and stuff like that. And they gave me the same list. And I told them, you have to put yourself number one. Not selfishly. Just if you're not fulfilling yourself, you don't have the energy. You won't have the energy, the wherewithal, everything to take care of everything else in your life you want to take care of, right? So this woman stands up adamantly and stands up and goes, I don't agree with you. And I said, she goes, my husband is first. My husband will always be first. I walked over to her, I got down on my knee, and I said, will you marry me? Now, yeah, she goes, I can't. And I go, why? She goes, because we don't live in Utah. So, anyway, but, again, what happens is we end up sacrificing ourselves for that one word, family. Right? Relationships aren't about sacrifice, they're about compromise, and they're really about negotiation. Right? They're really about negotiation, but you got to negotiate with yourself. Is what am I comfortable with doing with my family without sacrificing what I believe, without sacrificing my soul, without depleting myself? Because we have a tendency to do that in the name of family. Right? None of us were put in this world to meet the expectation of others. And we weren't put in this world to meet their expectations either. We can't expect things out of people they're not capable of. So you got to get rid of the woulda, shoulda, couldas, right? How many of, you're the mom, so you should. You're the sister, so you could, would you, do this? And I got two phrases for you. I'm not comfortable with that. That doesn't work for me. Why are you not comfortable with that? Because it doesn't work for me. Why doesn't it work for you? Because I'm not comfortable with it. Right? Simple. And you can go on and on all day long like that because it's okay to say no. Wait, that's another thing. You heard it. I said it. It is okay to say no. Right? By taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, above all else, when the ups and downs of life happen, the unfairness of life happen, you're going to have the physical, mental, and emotional wherewithal to deal with it. Right? To take care of it. Healthy boundary. You first and foremost. And it's not a selfish thing. Let me give you an example. Okay? You got a husband and children, right? I'm picking on the women on this one. Not picking, but I'm using you as an example. You got a husband and a wife. You got a couple kids. And you say to your husband, I take care of the kids all day long. I take care of, I got a job, part-time job, whatever I'm doing. I take care of everything. I take care of you, make sure you're okay. I want to start working out. I want to start going. I'll get dinner on the table, make sure everybody's taken care of, make sure everybody's good, and then I want to go to the gym from 7 to 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Is that selfish? No. Absolutely not. However, the husband comes up in the beginning of the week and says, honey, I got a big meeting on Thursday. I would really like you to be there. Dinner meeting with the boss. It's really important. To me, it's very important you be there. And stuff like that. And she goes, what time? Well, it starts at 6 o'clock. We won't get home till late or whatever. So 6 o'clock Thursday night? That's my workout time. It's not going to work for me. Is that selfish?
Yes.
Absolutely, that is.
Yes.
Sure it is. Because it's only one time every once in a while he's asking for a favor. He made it very clear that this is important to me, that this means a lot to me, that this is going to be good for business or whatever. So to ask that one time and she says no, out of all the other times, that's selfish. That's not, being, so there is a big difference between the two. First example, absolutely not. That one, I don't think so. Because I think that could lead to a little bit of a debate, should I say, right? Remember, that every thought or idea we have has a physical response in the body. So it's important to think good thoughts. But we get this programming when we're when we're young. You're not good enough. You'll never amount to anything. You're a horrible person. That was my mom. That was my programming from my mom when I was younger. I finished my PhD when I was 42 years old because I had, a lot of time before that. I had my first 2 degrees in psychology, recreation, leisure administration. So I thought it was going to be parks and recreation. I was going to be coaching. And then I had the fall. And then I went on and finished my master's and PhD after that, and I finished my PhD, when I was 42. Well, my mom never had a nice word to say about me, ever. That I was just horrible, right? So my brother, who I'm very close with and one of my favorite people, they have a big party for me to celebrate. All the families there. I have a brother and sister who married a brother and sister. So talk about influence, right? So we had the big party, the big family party, and we went there. And so now I'm in the kitchen, and I'm in there with my brother. We're preparing some steaks and stuff and whatnot. And I hear my mom at the table inside the other room, and she's going, "Oh, I'm so proud of my doctor son. And oh, he's so good." And blah, blah. I mean, I'm like, what? And my brother's watching me, and I don't get angry often, but I was like, okay, this is not working for me, right? So my brother Tim's he's grabbing my hand, he's going, calm down, it's going to be good, it's going to be good. I got up, I walked out to her, and I said, you have no right. You have no right whatsoever. I said, all my life I was just this piece of garbage that you wanted nothing to do with it. I would amount to nothing and stuff, and now all of a sudden you can brag to other people because I'm a so-called doctor. I said, nope, I'm out, and I left. I left the party, and I told my brother, I'm going to the San Francisco, and I'll be at the bar. Come join me. And I did, and I went down there, and we sat at the bar, and just sitting there chatting. My he's a gem. I mean, like I said, one of my favorite people. And he's going, "You all right?" I said, "No, I'm good." I said, "Do you know how wonderful that was for me?" I took the stand. I took my stand and said, "Nope, no more." Sometimes we need to take a stand. And you got to not get rid of that word family. Because I always ask this question, if this person were not my family, would I choose to have them in my life? And if the answer is no, out. And if you feel like you got to spend some time, minimize that time. Make it as short as possible. I know families that go on vacation together or whatever, they get the family reunion, right? I have a couple friends of mine that on purpose go in 2 days later than everybody else and leave 2 days before everybody else. Because they figure within that 3-day period in there that nobody's going to go too crazy. I said, but you're taking a chance though. I go, you're taking a chance because what happens if everything kind of goes within those first 2 days? He goes, then that, we walk into that, we can walk right out. So don't be afraid to set that healthy boundary, because the only obligation any of us really have is to ourselves. to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, then you're giving back to humanity, society, the people you love, the greatest gift you can give them. And that's the best version of you that you can possibly be.
I have a question.
Sure,
about
absolutely.
That situation you're talking about. What if you tried to understand why your mother was the way she was and why she related to you the way she did, and then forgive her? I mean, would that be being not taking a stand, or?
I think if it's abusive to you, you're not taking a stand. Okay? If it makes you feel pain, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, if it's, you know, a lot of times in life there's things we want to know or we want to get answers to, and we're just not going to get it. You know, look at, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You look back, if I look back at my mom and why my mom was the way she was, I just look at her mom and dad, and I can see how her mother, you know, it was like things, I wrote papers on this years ago, when 38 years ago or whatever, probably 40, I wrote a paper on things being passed down genealogically, okay? If cellular memory includes physical traits, and body, mind, and spirit are connected, why would it not include emotional traits, and why couldn't it not skip generations? Well, back then, my doctor friends and everybody were going, that's really out there, Keith, that's really woo thinking, right? So then every study that comes out shows I'm right on with it now. I mean, they separate, you know, twins, all these different things. In other words, you might not only have your mom's eyes, you may have your great-grandfather's anger, because it can skip generations genealogically. So it's pretty interesting the way the mind works. The question I would ask for you, and hopefully I'm giving you an answer that you, is why is it you need to know? Is it that important to you? Yeah, because if I go outside and there's a kitty cat and a lion, okay, I may go pet the kitty cat, but I'm not going to pet the lion. Or if I went to the lion and they went, you know, I'm not going to ask, why'd you bite? That was just his nature. It's like my mom. Literally, that was her nature. She was unkind, she was cruel, she was selfish, she was all these things, you know. However, I was always grateful to my mom and dad for one thing. They were the conduit to me coming into this world. That was it. And that's the only, so I could forgive just knowing that they were not capable of it.
So I guess the second part would be holding on to anger and guardedness and all is kind of self-destructive. So by taking a stand, are you releasing all of that?
Or, you know, I don't want to give a plug to me, but, you know, get help from somebody to guide you through that if you can't do it yourself. Yeah. You know, but holding on to anger, holding on to grudges is like you taking poison expecting the other person to die. It doesn't work that way. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, it really is, because you know, every thought or idea we have has a physical response in the body. I'm going to do a demonstration in just a second to show that.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're kind of implying that anger could be inherited.
Yes.
Okay, but isn't it, I mean, what made the first person angry? I mean, isn't that also a learned behavior?
It could be both. So yes, it could be, you know, there could be something where life, you know, just was unfair. They lost a job, lost a marriage, you know, somebody passed away. You could go on and on and on. All these things that happen in life that we can sit there and go, but the question I always ask is this: can I control it? If I can't control it, I gotta let it go. Because ultimate control is the ability to relinquish control when it's to your benefit. True control is the ability to give it up when it works out for you. Give it up, let it go. Why hold on to it? Again, that's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness is a wonderful gift to yourself. And just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you have to allow them to continue the same negative behavior in your life. You forgive and you set healthy boundaries. Hey, you know what? Okay, I get it. It's first time shame on me, shame on you, second time shame on me, if you allow that to continue. Because we can only feel the way we allow other people to make us feel. Don't allow anybody to make you feel anything but wonderful, especially family. Because family is, so a lot of times are the biggest abusers of it because they have a tendency to take care or take advantage of it because you're safe. You're not going anywhere because you're family. Right? Anything else?
No, I was just curious about that.
Can I borrow you, Deb?
Sure.
Come on up.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to do a demonstration here. Just want to show the body-mind connection, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to just take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it out slowly and just relax. Okay, I'm going to turn you this way, okay? Now, I'm behind you here. I'm going to catch you.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I want you to imagine I'm putting a screw in your back and there's a chain there. I'm going to pull on that. I want you to feel the pull. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, feel the pull, 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 feel the pull. Good. Did everybody see that? Yes. Okay. Now, thank you. Can you turn your arm around for me this way? Put your arm there and make it really strong. Okay. Okay, I'm going to push down on it, keep it nice and strong, okay? Yep. Now I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think of something negative that happened in your life. I want you to remember it. I want you to feel, I'm going to push down on your arm again. I want you to feel it. Tell me when you got it.
I got it.
Okay, okay, now think of something wonderful. Okay, think wonderful that happened in your life, and I want you to just remember it. I want you to feel it. Don't tell me what it is. Just I want the video. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So, I'm going to now think of something wonderful and positive. Okay. Do you feel the difference?
Yes.
And I'm pushing hard on it, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Let's give her a hand. That's why it's important to think good thoughts. That's a great thing. Free will. God in the universe gave us free will. The best thing every one of us has. Choose to surround yourself with good, wonderful, healthy people. Choose to put yourself in positive situations. That's a choice, right? You can choose, because don't get caught up in that web that's called family. Choose your family. And if you've got good family, embrace them and take care of each other. If you've got bad family, it's time for a divorce. Divorce isn't just between two people getting married. You can divorce your family. And if they get upset or they talk bad about you that's on them, not on you guys, right? Because again, you weren't put in the world to meet the expectation of others. But it's funny how family has these expectations of all of us, right? We've got to not put expectations on our children. And that's what becomes tough, because a lot of times we have a tendency to project what we hated most about our parents onto our kids. And we want to give them the freedom to make their mistakes. Like I used to tell my kids all the time, you have this to listen, this to lean on, this to catch you when you fall. However, your legs better be strong because I'm picking your rear back up and you have to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. Enabling's disabling, entitlement cripples. I've seen it over and over again. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that to your kids. And everybody thinks family. They should love unconditionally. How many believe that? Raise your hand. Okay. See, now I don't believe in unconditional love, and let me tell you why. Because when people get involved, and those of you might sit there and say, okay, God to us. Okay, that's fair. But we as human beings, we tend to screw everything up. You can have the best system, the best program, the best whatever, and then you get people involved and things kind of go awry for whatever reason, right? So I think the closest thing to unconditional love is your dog. right? Lock your spouse and your dog in the trunk of your car for an hour, open it, and see who's happy to see you. That's unconditional, because I guarantee you my wife is not going to be wagging her tail and going, woohoo, I'm so happy to see you. It's just not the way it works. So, the main thing is this, is you really do have to focus on yourself. This is a time to let go of the negative in your life, to accentuate the positive, and to really enjoy this chapter of our lives. Like I said before, we're on the back nine of our life. I want to shoot a good round. I don't know about you guys, but it's, so I think that's really important. So again, choose your friends wisely, choose your family wisely. Just really get back to what is it that brings you joy and contentment. I'm not saying happiness. Happiness is fleeting. It's a moment. Contentment is every day where you get up and you go, you know what, my life is pretty darn good. And I'm really enjoying what I'm doing here. And I'm enjoying the community. And it's all goodwill. And faith is important as well. So, but find purpose for yourself. Just because you're retired doesn't mean you can't find purpose. It can be many different things, but find purpose. That's what will get you up every day. That'll drive you, and then again, that's what will bring you joy and contentment. Any questions? Any other stories? Anybody want to bring anything in? We good? Everybody good? Wow, good. No questions about family. Okay, I guess I gave you some good information, hopefully. Well, my thing is this, just take that, whatever you do, I hope you got some good nuggets from me today. I thank you guys for coming. I'm always grateful that everybody's coming to listen. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully I got you to laugh a little bit and learned a little bit here and there. And next month, I hope to see you again. Thank you guys so very much, and have a great night.